What's going on, guys? I'm MrGoldenGamer, and I make gaming videos that nobody watches. Yesterday, Treyarch released the Season 2 roadmap for Black Ops 6, and in this video I'm going to be going over all of the multiplayer specific updates. I know there are a lot of updates to Zombies and Warzone, and for those I'll be making separate videos. The zombie stuff in particular this time around, it looks really cool, and I think I'm going to make a lot of Zombies content for this map in particular. So if you're interested in seeing that type of thing, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, so if you like Call of Duty, I'd love to have you on board. So let's get started in talking about the maps. There will be 3 maps at launch and 2 in mid-season. For the launch maps, we have Bounty, which is a 6v6 map. It's a medium-sized map, and it takes place in a penthouse suite on top of a skyscraper in Avalon. There's a lot of these Avalon maps, and you'll see the theme going forward, but this map looks pretty good. I think the layout looks pretty good. Medium-sized maps are the sweet spot for me personally in Call of Duty, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays. Then we have Dealership, which is also at launch, a 6v6 map, another medium-sized map. This one takes place at a car dealership in Avalon, and we're sticking to these Avalon maps. All of the DLC maps in Season 1 were also this like Avalon theme. I really want to see something different at this point, but that's okay. Maybe this one will play good. Then we have Lifeline, which is also coming at launch, and that's a strike map. This map is set on a high-end yacht. Basically, a lot of people, when they saw this in the trailer, were like, hijacked. And it's not. It's just not hijacked at all. Maybe it's Hijack's little brother. You can tell that it's definitely inspired by Hijack's, but it is just not that map. Then we're going to get 2 more maps mid-season. We have another strike map called Bullet. This is set on a high-speed bullet train that is in motion. And whenever I saw this, I immediately thought of Express from Black Ops 2, which we got in Black Ops Cold War as well. It definitely feels inspired by that, just like Lifeline feels inspired by Hijacked. And last but not least, in the mid-season update, 6v6 map, we get Grind, which is a remaster of the DLC map from Black Ops 2. And something that I think is really cool about this is that the blog says also expect an additional surprise related to this map later in the season, and I don't know what that could mean, but the possibilities are endless. Are we going to get the Peacekeeper DLC weapon, because that was the DLC weapon we got in Black Ops 2 when this map came out? That would be cool, but what could it be related to this map? Also, Grind was one of the maps that I put in my video where I went over the top 10 maps that I would like to see come back, so for me, I'm super stoked that Grind's coming back. Moving on to the weapons in Season 2, there are 4 confirmed so far. First, we have the Fang 82, and this is a full auto LMG, high damage and a slow rate of fire. It kind of looks more like an AR, so maybe this one will be kind of mobile, but you unlock this by completing page 3 of the Battle Pass. Second, we have the PPSH 41. We all know this one, they hinted at this last week, but this is the full auto SMG with an extremely fast rate of fire, high damage up close, but also has high recoil. We've seen this before, we kind of know how it's going to perform based on other games, but you unlock this by completing page 6 of the Battle Pass. Then we have the Cypher 091, and this is a full auto AR, a slower rate of fire, but has good handling and mobility. So you're going to be able to zip around with this thing, but the rate of fire being slow, I'm not sure how I feel about that. But this one is also unlocked in the Battle Pass, this time by completing page 8. Lastly, we have the TR2, which is a semi-auto marksman rifle with a good fire rate. So you're going to be able to spam this thing. And this is the FNFAL from previous COD games. We've seen this quite a few times before. They just don't call guns by their real names in Call of Duty anymore, but this is the FAL or the FAL, and this one will be unlocked in an in-season event. Now, they did kind of leave the rest of the weapons open-ended, so we might not only get 4. They say you could expect to fill your melee loadout slot with multiple additional hand-to-hand weapons, so we're definitely going to get some melee weapons. But this one is what's interesting. They say, plus a rip-roaring projectile armament coming later on. Now, what could that be? Is this tying into the hints that they put in Grind, the Grind-related surprise? Is it the Peacekeeper? I'm just speculating, but that would be really cool. That's honestly what I'm hoping for. But what do you guys think? What do you think they're hinting at here? Is it like a ballistic knife? I don't know. They'll also be adding a few attachments in Season 2. The first one's coming at launch, and it's a crossbow attachment, which is an underbarrel crossbow with explosive tip bolts. This can be used on all assault rifles, as well as the SWAT 5.56 and AEK 9.73 marksman rifles, and you'll get this on the Battle Pass on page 7. Now, the rest of these attachments are event rewards in Season. The first one is the full auto mode for the AEK 9.73 marksman rifle. I would have loved to see this for the SWAT as well, because in Black Ops 2, I was always using the select fire attachment and using the SWAT in full auto, but maybe we'll see that later on. But it's going to be really cool to be able to use the AEK in full auto. Then there's the binary trigger for the Tanto 22. This is going to turn it into a semi-auto gun with a binary action, so that means every time you pull the trigger and release the trigger, that's one shot for the pull, one shot for the release, so you can kind of spam this pretty quick. But this blocks the barrel and underbarrel attachment slots. Then there's the belt fed attachment, which is for all LMGs, and it gives you an extreme amount of ammo with there's no need to reload, but the gun can overheat, so it kind of turns it into a different thing. So you don't have to reload, but you can't just hold down the trigger forever because it can overheat. So those are all interesting. But I guess the next thing is new perks. We have two new perks. There's Slipstream, which will be an event reward, and this raises your base sprint speed at the cost of removing tac sprint. This is going to be perk slot 3, and I think we saw something similar to this last year in Modern Warfare 3, so it's cool to see that back. The next one is Hunter's Instinct, and this will come in mid-season as well, and this means you eliminate an enemy and it'll mark the next closest enemy on your minimap, and that is a perk slot 2. I think that one's pretty interesting. There's also a new wild card called Fly Swatter, and this allows a player to replace their dedicated melee weapon with a launcher, so you don't need to take up your secondary pistol with a launcher anymore. I think that's pretty cool. Maybe it'll get people using launchers more often, not having to sacrifice that sidearm. A new Scorestreak, or a returning Scorestreak I should say, is the War Machine. This will be 1300 score, but this time it's a burst fire grenade launcher with grenades that explode on impact. I don't believe it was ever burst fire before, but interesting to see them make a little bit of a change to a classic, so I have no problem with that. I'm happy to see the War Machine back. I would love to see the Death Machine back though, but maybe in Season 3 we'll see something like that. There'll be a couple of new game modes for Season 2 as well, and first we have a new one called Overdrive, and this is kind of similar to Cranked from past Call of Duty games, but this is a twist of Team Deathmatch. Teams compete to be the first to reach the maximum number of stars. You get stars by getting kills in different ways, and as you kill, you get bonuses, and when you die, those bonuses go away. And I believe you're also on a timer, similar to where you were on Cranked, where if you don't get a kill within that timer, you lose all your bonuses and you need to start over. So different twist. I don't know that I'm going to love it, but I'll give it a shot. Then we have Gun Game making a return, and this is a free-for-all variant where you have a set of 20 weapons. You get a kill, you move on to the next weapon. If someone melees you, then you get set back one. The first one to progress through all 20 weapons wins. I'm sure we've seen those ones before. Then we have Valentine's Day modes. These are just kind of fun little variants. We have Third Wheel Gunfight, which is just 3v3 gunfight, which I am a huge fan of over the years. Then we have Couples Dance Off, which is just face off in 2v2. As you all know, face off so far has been 6v6, so we'll slow it down a bit and do 2v2 face off. I think that'll be pretty fun to play those maps in 2v2 in respawn game modes. They'll be adding a bunch of quality of life upgrades here in Season 2, the first of which is challenge tracking and near completion. You can manually track up to 10 calling card challenges and 10 camo challenges per mode, so zombies, warzone, multiplayer, you can have separate challenges tracking in each, which is really cool. And if you don't set any track challenges, it'll just show you near completion challenges, which will allow you to see ones that you maybe can just get some easy XP by completing. There's unique HUD presets for different modes. So multiplayer and zombies were having the same presets. Now those are independent of one another, which is really cool. There's some other general quality of life improvements. They reduce the collision with teammates to improve maneuverability around tight spaces and doorways with nearby teammates. A lot of my friends have actually complained about that before, so it's really cool that they're taking action on that. There's going to be a weapon balance pass. We don't know the details of that yet, but of course you figure with a big update like this, they're going to do some weapon balancing, further reducing weapon motion when jumping, sliding, and diving, with the dexterity perk equipped. They're improving player visibility and kill confirm by reducing the height of dog tags on the map. Never really thought about that one, but I suppose that would get really annoying if they're just obscuring your view. Simplifying and or expanding requirements for several calling card challenges, as well as fixing bug challenges. I guess some calling card challenges are just very vague, so I guess they're going to make those more detailed. I guess that's cool, whatever. Expanding the number of featured playlist slots to allow more marquee playlists on the menu. So I have no problems with that. That is fine by me. So really cool that they're making some of these improvements. I know the big thing that is on people's mind is the anti-cheat and making sure all the cheaters are out of the game. So hopefully something is being done about that as well. I guess the last thing that I didn't mention is the ranked rewards. Personally, I'm not into ranked. If you're into that, that's cool. There's rewards there for you, but that's just not for me. Other than that, I think that sums just about everything up for the multiplayer. Stay tuned to the channel for the zombies updates as well as the Warzone updates. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I will be making separate videos going over each and every one of those updates as well. So once again, guys, I'm Mr. Golden Gamer. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.